All right. So many of you have asked. I really appreciate that you find interest in having me respond to it. So let's look at this Black Project 2025 stuff. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. All right. So this is the official Black Project 2025 page with a link to the link tree that we're going to look at here in a minute. But as it says here, on a mission to put $1.8 trillion back in our pockets by way of economical unification within our community. All right, we'll leave alone the grammar issues for now. I make enough of them myself, but obviously out the gate is this allusion to the illusion, an allusion to the illusion of Black buying power. So already everything built on this premise is going to be flawed. The foundation is already ruined. So there can be nothing sustainable built on this premise. And that's basically the point that I keep wanting to get at. There is no $1.8 trillion that Black people have and can use in the economy any way they wish. The $1.8 trillion buying power figure is a marketing and advertising corporate world creation meant to measure the ability of consumers, in this case, Black consumers, to enrich those who already own the economy, that is the white elite corporate rulers who have already accumulated the wealth, have already dominated the most wealth-producing sectors of the economy, and have made, as Marisa Baradaran said again more recently in an interview with me, a rigged game. So, by the way, as I keep forgetting to mention out of my own work, the $1.8 trillion buying power figure, if you use that and accept it as reality and then put it into the broader buying power capability of society, I've measured it out. It comes to about 1/8 the buying power of white America. So even if this were a real figure that people could actually organize, which is basically the idea of this project here, that there is this pool of wealth that Black people can organize, control over, and deploy as they wish in the economy, even if that were true, which it is not, white folks have at least 8 times more. All right, so I'm going to click the link tree. And then as you can see here, we have some options. What I think is most fascinating is that it's mostly an invitation to sign up and join. There's no real clarity over who's organizing this or who the people are. You can join the official Discord. You can donate, of course. And as you see here, they've raised $80,000 so far out of a $2 million goal. And as it also says here, that while we do know we get at least one name, Anaya Holloway, who is the entrepreneur who went viral and who we'll hear from in just a moment, it's just a further explanation of the flawed premise. Let me move this. Let me get this. Just trying to get it so you can read it more clearly here. Our community contributes an impressive $1.8 trillion annually to the U.S. economy, yet much of the spending leaves our community instead of strengthening it. Again, this is just a regurgitation of now what is 150 years old, observably old mythology. at least 120 to 125 years old. And suggests that A, black people have this pool of wealth that they just spend outside the community, and that B, that this wealth could be spent within the community and to the benefit of the community. Remember, the United States GDP is $20+ trillion every year. The idea, I think somehow there is an idea that the 1.8 trillion within the black community could be marshaled to create the products, goods, and services that would equate not maybe monetarily to that 20 trillion, but in terms of the goods and services. Now that 20 trillion is based on all that we of all that is spent and sold and traded and purchased. So it would mean that if you think about everything that you buy and pay bills on being created by a black provider or company, the logic fails there. There are not enough goods and services that black people are able to produce that black people could then buy in ways that the producers would find it worth their while in terms of profit or even just an ability to sustain. So I just think these things are just not properly thought through in part because the buying power concept is itself a construct of marketing, branding. I think it fits nicely within counterinsurgency and psychological warfare goals, propaganda goals. But in other words, it is a message that is successfully deployed. So the fact that it keeps coming back and without any sustainable or substantive, I should say, investigation is frustrating, but at the same time understandable. Through Black Project 2025, we aim to cultivate a dedicated team and secure community-backed funding to gradually build our own robust systems and products. By fostering this initiative, we'll establish the foundations necessary to support essential services, including social media platforms, streaming services, grocery stores, financial institutions, schools, housing developments, and more tailored to our community needs. So again, as Kamal said on the morning show not long ago in response to this, I am not meaning to condemn any desire among the black community to organize itself, to nationalize itself, and to become more of a problem to the normal flow of business in the United States or around the world. My problem is that, again, everything built on this faulty premise is going to fail. It cannot succeed. It can only, at best, produce a very small and powerless black bourgeoisie who ultimately has a class interest that works against the interest of the community. So what I've ever only wanted with my argument around buying power is that we can get rid of this myth, so all of this underlying good energy can flourish and can find its value in spaces where it's actually welcomed. This is not one of them. This will be a step-by-step journey. With the united effort, we can create a future where our spending power fuels economic growth, innovation, independence within our own community. It sounds wonderful, but buying power is only a measurement of what is possible to spend on enriching the already existing order. It is not something that can be it's not something real that can just be transferred and redirected somewhere else. We have to enhance our understanding of the economy and how it works, our relationship to it, and what we can do about it. This is not the way to do it. All right, so I've clicked the link in the link tree to where you can watch the webinar. I've not seen it, so we're going to watch it here together, at least for the most part. I've skipped the first 7 or so minutes where she's getting set up and she's telling people to follow her. She's telling people not to click the link to the Discord. due to some infiltration, some problems. She's responding to some things in the chat, but so we're skipping to the part where she seems about ready to start the actual webinar and explanation of the project. So here we go.
So, okay. Before we get into this, let's talk about how in the world we even got here, because this started Friday morning when I had a yap session and a TikTok video for breakfast. And here we are on Tuesday, and it's getting kind of crazy. So my idea for BP 2025, obviously, a lot of us were hurt amidst what happened. I don't even need to get into all of that. But
the elections,
I started kind of thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I really feel like this would be a great movement. So I made a video, and I said, okay, I'm going to throw together a quick little community on Heartbeat. This should answer some of you guys' questions, by the way, about what has gone on with Heartbeat. I was like, I'm going to throw together a community on Heartbeat. This is a platform I'm really familiar with. I've utilized it a lot of the time. They have forums, they have courses, they have spots for documents. You have your intros. I was like, this will be good. This will be really, really good. Guys, the webinar is being recorded. Yeah. The webinar is being recorded. Guys. Okay, hold on. All right, hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Okay, let me see, because I'm like, how do I turn on? I was anticipated at all. As we continued, as we grew, I'm in there, I'm watching the Heartbeat go off, and all of a sudden, we completely crashed it. Heartbeat is crashed. The servers cannot handle the amount of us that were joining. We were joining so quickly, we completely crashed the platform. And so I'm like, okay, what in the world's going on? Even I, as an admin, couldn't log in. Like, that's how badly we crashed it with so many people going on the website and going on the app. We completely crashed it, right? So I reached out to them. I'm like, listen, I need a full export of all the people that are inside of our organization. They got back to me. They said, oh my gosh, we're very sorry about that. You guys crashed the platform. There were so many people joining. And by the way, you should expect a message from our CEO. I'm like, I'm still waiting to hear from their CEO, by the way, because they want us to stay on Heartbeat. But for me, I'm like, you guys, I don't think you guys have bandwidth to support.
Let's move ahead here a little bit. I don't know. What does this have to do with the actual project?
I'm going to go over the mission and vision. We're going to just do a little bit of level setting expectations, because again, guys, we got a lot going on and it's been a really short amount of time. I don't know for you guys, for me, I feel like it's been months because I've been working so much, but it really only has been 5 days. Jump into some quick immediate action items, go over any short announcements, and then we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up from there. All right, guys. So introduction. Who am I? Who's Anaya? Because I'm sure a lot of you people have never heard of me before a day in your life. Well, I am a 22-year-old media buyer, and I have an ad agency that specifically supports minority-owned businesses. And for those of you guys who aren't familiar with the title, you know when you're scrolling on your Instagram.
So first of all, I mean, this speaks well to my concerns. So first of all, she's announced that she came up with this idea seemingly by herself. She's reached out to, we'll see about who she says her team is, but it seems like people that she's already maybe working with or familiar with, but it's not too necessarily, it seems, well, we'll see. But it didn't suggest that she was reaching out to people who are already experts in these areas or related fields, or who are already attempting this work or who have already attempted this work. So, but then most importantly is that she says she's a media buyer who works, who's coming out of an ad agency world. So it's with the goal of supporting minority-owned businesses. So she's already coming at this from media, marketing, business, and that, and I don't mean business from the sense of even necessarily understanding how the economy works, but with the goal of promoting minority-owned business as part of her ad agency work. So the fact that she would be so deeply engaged with a mythology and an ad agency marketing-driven myth of buying power, it stands to reason.
Your Snapchat and you see ads.
And it's cause for concern.
Ads that pop up, and then you're like, oh, I want a toaster. And then all of a sudden you start getting ads for a toaster. That's what I do for a living. I build those campaigns. I manage those ads for a living, and I've managed over $35 million in ad spend in my career. So that is who I am. I decided that I was going to create culture media when, I was about 18 years old. I was working other ad agencies. I just didn't like the amount of inclusion and representation that I saw. And I decided that I was like, okay, I want an agency that's going to specifically support my community because I just saw that was a gap that could be bridged. You guys also might know me from when I previously went viral on TikTok at some point last year when I purchased my home. I was trying to get more people in our community into media buying because it's something that I've been able to do, for a short period of time, and I've done well for myself. I was also educating people on the home buying process as well, trying to teach people about interest rates because my interest rate is not a great one, but hopefully they come down and we can refi. But that was kind of my objective.
So now she's coming out of media buying and real estate. Yeah, a lot of red flags and warnings here.
And I was able to gain a lot of reach and a lot of traction when I was 21 last year. So you guys might know me from there. So my objective has always been relatively consistent. To teach my community about what it is that I do for a living, and then also try to cultivate an environment where I can support businesses within my community. So the fact that VP 2025 is coming, it just basically aligns with pretty much all that I'm about. So aside from that, really quickly, guys, I want to give a shout out to the team that jumped in really quickly. So Elena and I, we've been working together for quite a bit of time with Culture Media. She's a magna cum laude graduate from Howard University. So guys, I want to give it up for Elena. She is amazing. She's been helping me build out you guys' Discord servers. She and I are locked in. She's fantastic. We have Sydney. She is a wonderful data analyst, and she also helped me out with a lot of this presentation deck. And I really also want you guys to understand basically the impact that we've been able to have in such a short period of time, because we've all come together just that quickly. And the team they came around me. They're like, what can I do? What do you need help with? I see all of you guys commenting. How can I support you? What can I do? How can I help? And guys, I adore you guys. Thank you guys so much for all your time. Rashawn, thank you so much for jumping in. He was the first people in the Heartbeat community trying to get things wrinkled in and trying to create a group, a board, trying to just start the conversations. And he has been absolutely fantastic. And
by the way, the lag you're hearing are the tech issues all on her, by the way. This is how the recording was
when it comes to their recruitment, and she has jumped in to help me. So those applications that you guys are submitting for those roles in the organization, she's going to be helping spearhead that. So guys, I just want to give it up for them. They are absolutely fantastic. They've been a great support system for me. And I just wanted to if you guys are out there listening, which I know you guys are, I just want you to know, just from the bottom of my heart, I'm so thankful for each and every last one of you guys.
So I'm sure these are brilliant, talented people, but I see a marketing director, operations director, project management director, HR director. And they're coming out of what seems to be her pre-existing clique. I'm not really hearing where is the expertise in either economics or political organization or political economy or,
All right. So let's talk about the mission and the vision, because I do feel like there is a little bit of confusion in regards to BP 2025. So I want to be very clear with you guys. This mission in no way, shape, or form is meant to support or promote any kind of segregation.
All right, so she's saying there the project is not to support segregation. So she doesn't want to be categorized clearly as a nationalist or a separatist or a critic even of the United States and certainly and definitely not of capitalism. And you can see right here in the initial quote here a little bit of the political trajectory. It's an epigraph quote from President Barack Obama. Change will not come if we wait for some other people or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. I'm President Barack Obama, and I'm currently living in a Martha's Vineyard estate, far away from as many of you Negroes as possible. And thank you for your support. All right, so all right. And then it says here, in the United States, households are typically classified as upper middle class with an income range between $106,000 and $150,000. And I'm happy to be updated on this statistic, but the amount of individuals, not household incomes, but the amount of individuals, regardless of race, who earn that much money, over $100,000, is less than, I think, 5%. The average income is somewhere between 35 and 45,000. But so she's talking about household, but this is a household. So if you get a couple people in there making that money, then maybe you are making 106 to 150,000. Our community accounts for $1.8 trillion annually towards the U.S. economy. So again, the way she's phrasing that actually does speak on one level to the accuracy of what the buying power number reflects, which is it reflects the ability to support the economy, this country's economy. What does it mean to support the U.S. economy? It means to enrich those who own it. Who owns it? The 800 people worth $6.2 trillion, the top Fortune 500 companies, the people that dominate the primary areas of the sectors of the economy. That's that's what buying power represents, the ability to enrich them. The idea, though, that it can be taken out and turned specifically towards the Black community is the mythology. That is the marketing and the branding that she and so many fall victim to. If we could effectively redirect the $1.8 trillion back into our communities, the average household income would rise from $48,297 to $172,572, an increase of $124,000 per year. I'm not sure, there's a typo here, an error in the sentence here. Our community will be thriving. Our community would be thriving no matter where we are. BP 2025 aims to nationwide net uplifts Black businesses fast, health promotes engagement. Was this some AI generated? I'm not sure what is, but the point is, first of all, we'll keep watching. Is there going to be some substance and data that supports this claim that redirecting the buying power will raise household incomes from 48 to 172,000? I can't imagine where that data would come from, given that buying power is not accurately reflected or represented here. And where would this claim come from? How and remember when we talked to Ben Norton the other day on Black Liberation Media, and we asked him about the claim that Trump is making that he's going to bring U.S. businesses back to this country, and he's going to take business away from other countries. He's going to have the U.S. And Ben was asking that question: is the United States all of a sudden going to become the producer of all the televisions and sneakers and whatnot? Is that all of a sudden going to happen? And if Ben is correctly saying the entire U.S. is not capable at this point of developing all of the factory and worker capability to produce everything that it currently buys from China and elsewhere, how is it that Black America is going to do that? Even if there was this 1.8 trillion pot of gold that could be redirected, as she's saying here that they want to do, how does that turn into the factories that are going to produce the lamps, the laptops, the cell phones, the clothing, the housing, the cars, in other words, the restaurants, the shipping lines and the truck lines that deliver the products, the goods to the restaurants to then be, where is all this going to come from? All right, but let's keep watching. Maybe she'll explain.
Point blank. That is not what this is about. This is not about segregation. It's actually about the opposite. It's about economic unification within our community. Take everybody else out of this. They don't have anything to do with this. This is about our community. I'm not telling you guys to go, and I've seen some comments and people are, it's kind of giving a little bit of a you can't sit with us energy. This has nothing to do with other people. At the end of the day, we don't even sit with each other half the time. So my goal for BP 2025 is for us to come together and unify economically and take the $1.8 trillion that we contribute to the U.S. economy annually and spend that amongst ourselves. So that is not an invitation to be nasty to other people. That is not an invitation to try to, separate yourself. This is not about anybody else, about us. It is strictly about supporting our community. So let's just get into some numbers.
I don't mean to keep quoting her, but Marisa Baradaran said in her earlier work, made that very important point. You can segregate people, but you cannot segregate money. And this is part of the fallacy that has arisen out of the segregated experience in this country, that a segregated community can, in fact, segregate itself economically and build itself and thrive. That's not the point. The segregation imposed on Black people historically by the United States was to more aggressively and overtly facilitate the extraction of Black wealth from the Black community. It was to keep people socially separate while keeping Black people, despite these claims of Black businesses, economically dependent. That's why the work that's come out over the year recently that we've talked a lot about here that shows that Black Wall Street was not some Black revolutionary fantasy of Wakanda. It was a subsidiary to the surrounding white oil Tulsa money. And we're still a place where 95% of the Black community in Tulsa at Black Wall Street were working people, working for a handful of Black owners. So she doesn't have to go through this whole thing of this is not about other people and all that. Of course it's about other people. Black America is inextricably tied and linked to the U.S. economy. To try to withdraw itself and extract itself would not only bring about a certain level of hostility, but it would bring more, it would reduce Black people's engagement with all of the things, the goods and services that we think we are going to be able to duplicate and replicate with just Black people. That this is coming from, yet again, a viral searching marketer should be part of how we understand the flaws here. Black Project 2025 is the Black capitalist fantasy gone viral.
Really, really, really quickly, okay? Our community contributes $1.8 trillion annually to the U.S. economy. Okay, $1.8 million.
And I apologize annually. If she's going to read the whole thing. Just
the
as
average income in the household in our community is about $40,000 per year. In the case, and listen, I know this is probably going to sound crazy to you guys, and I've sounded
wow,
crazy
her internet
to you guys
is terrible
on numerous occasions, and
her
I'm
connection
okay with
is
that.
terrible.
In the case that we find a way to turn that $1.8 trillion inward towards our community, the median income would basically jump in one of our households, and obviously a household of color, from $40,000 per year up to $170,000 per year, just by us making that slight shift in turning.
And you show this
basically what we have and contribute to the economy inwards. Okay. So a lot of people have said things about, and listen, this is a very sensitive topic. So
wait a minute. Is she just saying, did she just break down the 1.8 trillion? And wait a minute. How did she do this? Did she just do, let's see, what was it? So if it's 1.8 divided by, about 40 million? Yeah, I think that's what she did. So she just said there's about 40 million Black people, and if you divide that by 1.8 trillion by 40 million, you get about 45,000. I think that's what she did. So in other words, she's just saying that if every penny, because again, buying power is as close as it comes to being real, is a measurement of every penny earned by every Black person in the United States. And if every Black penny earned in the United States were redirected back into the Black community, she's arguing that would so wait a minute, 172. I'm not even sure. My math is probably wrong because I was always bad. I'm 140, 72 minus 48, 124. Yeah, so okay, that's apparently what she did. So when you divide 1.8 trillion by 40 million, you get about 46,000, I think. And then if you take that and subtract 40. Now I've confused myself. If you take that 1.8 trillion divided by 40 million, you get 48, about 45, 46,000, I think. Then you end up with the figure that she then subtracts from or adds to the 48,000 to subtracts the 48,000 from the 172 to get the 124 increase. I think that's what it's something crazy like that. But the point is, unless she's about to reveal it here, this is not, I'm struggling. You all will figure this out before I do. But the point is, whatever's being done here is not based in any actual money. And I can't imagine she's going to share with us how she's actually claiming that these figures are real and that what she's saying would happen if we redirect the money would have the impact she's claiming. My bad, everybody. My bad.
Don't want anyone to take anything that I'm saying out of context, but I've seen a lot of people talking about the Jewish community and how they do that really, really well. Okay? They don't segregate. They don't tell us, hey, you can't come in and spend your money with our businesses. No, it's okay if we spend our money with their businesses. Just know that when they get that money, they're going to go and they're going to spend it amongst themselves.
No,
and
they don't.
That we just need to do the same.
So again, Jews, this is, please somebody show the data on this. Jews don't just take their money and spend it in their own communities. To the extent that a segment of elite Jews own sectors of the economy where all of us spend, yes, they do. But that's not Jews keeping the money within their own community. It's, in other words, Jews still like a Jew, Phil Knight owns Nike. But when Jews go and buy Nike, that's not Jews keeping the money within their own community. That's Jews putting their money into a global economy that happens in this case to be run and led by a Jew. But it is not. But that's because Phil Knight and Nike are part of a global economic force. Whether they're exploiting Asian labor, whether they have factories in other countries, whether they have international branding and marketing deals and commitments with sports leagues all over the world, that's what they're doing. There are no Black-led businesses that big doing that. So you can't. I think I'm struggling to get to. But the relationship Jews have to the economy is different. The relationship Jews have to the United States, as in the world historically, is very different than from Black people. So this one-to-one, they did it, we can do it, is not how it works. It is also a denial of the condition of the entire Jewish and white community, and denies, to the point I was just making, there is only one Phil Knight. There's only one Bezos. There's only one Walton family. So even within the white context, or even within the context of just European descended Jews, there's only a handful that are at these certain levels. The rest of the Jewish and white community are benefiting more than Black people, but are contributing back to the broader economy. They're not just circulating dollars within their own community. And that's not how you build wealth anyway. You can't, especially when your community, as is the case with Black people, has no money.
Okay, so that is really the mission for BP 2025. I want us to take our economic impact and I want us to turn it inwards, and I want us to be able to increase the average household income within our community so that way we can further support our own agendas to better and build our own communities and establish that infrastructure so we can thrive, okay? That is the BP 2025 mission.
And again, the best way to rise the average income level of any household is through policy that redistributes existing wealth. That is, get wage get laborers paid higher wages, get debt relief, drive down the cost of living, free health care. These are the things we need to be focused on to the extent we're doing above board, legal, in-state, so to speak, work. The energy, whatever goodwill and energy is existing with this sister and those who have an affinity for her argument, that's where it needs to be directed, not towards these fantasies of business, because at the end of the day, what is going to be created, to the extent that she's benefits, all that's going to be created is that bougie class of Barack Obama's.
About segregation. This is not about you can't sit with us. This is not meant to be something that's nasty. It is genuinely meant to just grow our community and for us to unify. So we are economically unifying. We are not segregating. Okay.
But let's
just want to make sure that we got that out of the way. Okay. So again, one more time, because I don't want anyone taking this out of context. This is not an attempt to segregate. It is the complete opposite. Is an attempt to economically unify. Okay. Within our community. Oh gosh. Guys, I'm on like 15 different phones right now, so I'm trying to make sure that we don't lose any one of the situations. So the long-term goals and objectives, it's pretty simple. We do want to eventually start building the kind of economical impact for ourselves that we see that other communities have. So what are we going to do? We're going to build our community and unify, foster connections. We're going to turn our economical, basically what we have to invest, we're going to turn it inwards, and we're going to build wealth for the community, and we're going to unify. That's it. Long term.
Sounds great.
Jumping in, level setting, and managing expectations, because I know there have been a lot of questions about who's doing what's going on. And I know that you guys want to get the ball and just kind of get the show on the road relatively quickly. But also, guys, I don't want to rush perfection. Rome was not built overnight. And for that reason, I do want to be very, very, very transparent with you guys and very realistic in regards to what this is going to look like, okay? So, feedback and concerns about VP 2025. A lot of people, the platform, Heartbeat, we are going to have to move over to Discord. So that's in the works. A lot of people have told me things about the fact that we need to move in silence. And I'm gonna give you guys my uncandid thought process when it comes to this. If I was moving in silence, I would not be sitting on a call in front of over 7,000 people right now. I wouldn't. I'm sorry, you guys wouldn't know what's going on. And I understand there have been things that have previously happened. I know that there have been things that have hurt us. I know we have tried to build our own Black Wall Street and we were stopped. But I will say I am not someone that subscribes to the crabs in the bucket mentality. As someone that has been able to work her way up in life with minimal support, I believe that we can do it. I'm delusional enough to believe that we can do anything that we put our minds to. So for that reason, I'm not the biggest proponent for move in silence. To be honest with you, to do what we want to do and to be able to have the impact that we want to have and to do what we want to do well, we are going to need funding, and funding means that we are going to need reach. Full transparency, okay? So yes, it is going to turn into a group, but I also want you guys to think about.
So this is just her talking about moving to Discord, and a lot of mythology being regurgitated here. That this is about a mindset somehow. That this is about. I'm just going to have to move ahead here. Let's get to the next, because I don't think it matters whether. I don't think any of this has anything to do with the ability for this to take effect. She says here, we will witness the challenges faced by Black Lives Matter and had to ensure a different outcome. We are committed to operating at a high standard of professionalism and efficiency. When a company grows, it naturally brings new challenges, new people, processes, and priorities, and there's a need for clear, consistent communication becomes critical. It will take time for community to evolve. Please be patient. That's
who I am. That's my thought process on everything. So let's talk about the progression. because it's been a crazy 5 days. And I know I'm setting these expectations, but let's really sit back and give ourselves a round of applause. In 5 days, we have garnered over 50,000 members that are interested in being a part of BP 2025. In 5 days, 50,000. We managed to crash an entire server on a platform, okay? The CEO of Heartbeat still owes me a phone call. We crashed a full server. Over 2,000 applications have been submitted for people who are interested in working within this organization to support our agenda. 2,000 applications. How many Black jobs is that? A business entity has been filed, guys. I am on the move. The BP 2025 hashtag is on the move. And I met with the founder of Fanbase. I'm looking to have 62 viewers on Fanbase right now. Isaac, if you're out there and you're watching this, it was a pleasure to meet with you. And thank you so much for giving me the breakdown on your mission and your platform. And guys, go make your Fanbase accounts, okay? That is.
So she's promoting Heartbeat as a platform, Fanbase as a platform. She's telling people to sign up and follow. She's telling people to support the fundraising effort. But to what end? I hope so. We got 14 minutes left in this. I hope. Yeah, I'm just seeing people following and signing up and sending money, and then beyond the branding and marketing phrases that have become economic mythology, I'm not hearing anything.
The initiative. Period. It's not something that people will be able to just jump into. You will have to be approved to get into the app. We can do our updates in there as opposed to having to utilize Discord. We can go through everything. We can vote. We can do all of our polls, and we can just have our app for our group so we can maintain a level of privacy. That's what I would recommend. Next thing, in regards to supporting our businesses, what can we do today, right, as the holidays are coming up? I know there are a lot of Black-owned business directories out there. I do. There are a lot of directories.
So support Black business.
So many.
Great.
But there isn't the directory. You get where I'm coming from? There might be a website over here with 2,000 businesses on it. There might be another website over there with 1,000, but there is not a spot where we go where we're like, okay, that is the spot where I know I can filter by my state, by what it is that I'm looking for, and I'm going to be able to find what it is that I'm looking for in a minority-owned business. And on top of that, if there is one, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm going to level set. User interface is really important, okay? If there's one thing, what do you do when you download an app and then you open up your phone and you look at it and you're like, this thing looks kind of janky? You uninstall it, right?
Yeah, but your whole presentation here is on some janky internet with no microphone. Isn't this the same problem?
So that
and you're asking us to give you money to save us and lead a revolution.
The directory, period, point blank. And I say that between building the app for our initiative and building.
And it's becoming a marketing tool to help Black businesses promote themselves. So is that all that this is going to be? Another Black business money grab?
Is how I'm reaching you right now, through your computer screen, through your phone screen, right? So what's needed, guys? We're going to need funding. We are. But I also, before we even talk about funding, I want to be very clear with you guys. I want to do this the right way. And if we can't do it right.
Remember when Erica and Amber told John Hope Bryant, you're ignoring the data that shows how Black people are denied funding and venture capital and investment, that this is a permanent, a permanent barrier to Black people achieving parity in the business community. And yet here we are again. She's starting off, we need money. So who's going to supply that money? The Black people who are going to kick in their few dollars to develop what? So you're going to, the assumption she seems to be operating off of is that this 1.8 trillion is real. If I tap into it enough, I can do enough for my own initiatives and my own platforms and my own business partners and businesses and relationships. And maybe she really does even believe that this is a pathway to success for the entire community. But it's all based on a fallacy and a misunderstanding and a concocted narrative around Black capitalism.
We're not going to do it at all. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be caught in between a rock and a hard place trying to produce a product that doesn't really have the backing that it needs to be as successful as we're hoping for.
But what product?
So it's either,
because you've promised you're going to, if black people are supposed to redirect the $1.8 trillion in buying power, you need to be producing many products. So again, I hope she clarifies what the money that you're asking that people help raise is to do what? Because those same people are going to want some shoes. They're going to want a jacket. They're going to want some gloves. They're going to want a gaming system. They're going to want incense and candles and toiletry bags. Now I'm just naming stuff in my room here. And hats and fans and laptops. Who's producing all of that?
We're going to do it right, or we're not going to do it at all. Because I don't want to sit here and make any promises and then turn around and not even have the infrastructure to effectively fulfill. So in the case that we're not able to raise the funding that I'm comfortable with, this will not happen. I'm not risking my reputation. I'm not going to sit here and sell a dream and say, oh, we can create this, we can do that, and know that we don't even have the resources needed to get it done the right way. I will not do that.
Wait a minute, but you are selling a dream. Again, maybe unwittingly, but you are selling a dream based on this fantasy of a $1.8 trillion. We don't have the resources to business our way out of this problem. So maybe she is on her way to realizing this and course correcting.
Okay. Aside from that, we also are going to need to grow the reach of our initiative. At the end of the day, the only way this happens is with funding. The only way funding happens is with reach. If there's no reach, there's no funding, there's no initiative. I understand the concept, move in silence for sure, but at the end of the day, if I were moving in silence, not running my mouth on TikTok, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you guys today, okay? So I just want to give a quick shout out to our progression. I'm so proud of us. 50,000 people in 5.
My bad. Telling a marketer and an influencer to move in silence is, I can't think of anything more anathema to an influencer than moving in silence.
Days. We crashed a server, 2,000 applications submitted for black jobs. A business entity. It was just a federal holiday yesterday, guys. We are moving. BP 2025 hashtag. I see it all over my TikTok time.
And yeah, you're going to get applications for black jobs. A lot of black people need jobs. But what jobs are you going to be able to offer to do what and at what salary? And with what funding base?
Timeline. And I got to meet with the creator of Fanbase. Guys, this has been an insane.
And to do what? And to do what? Wait a minute. I was about to just look that up real quick. Hold on a second. Let me do that. Who is this creator of Fanbase? My bad, everybody. Who created Fanbase? Isaac Hayes III. Okay, Okay, so. Okay, that's right. My bad. Hayes launched Fanbase 2018 and has invested $200,000 of his own money in the company, as well as raising over $10 million through crowdfunding. Fanbase is designed to be a space for younger users to connect with creators without the influence of older family members. The app's subscription model allows users to pay for content from specific creators, and creators can upload long-form content like podcasts, TV shows, short films behind a paywall. You all can let me know. I've never engaged with Fanbase. You all can let me know to what extent it's being used and to what extent a Black-owned media or social media platform can accomplish the goals that are being claimed in Project 2025, Black Project 2025.
Insane 5 days. You guys, round of applause, and thank you guys so much. So, how do we get there? I kind of went over this. Oh no, not me duplicating the slide. Okay. So immediate action items. Where can we go? We have roles that need to be filled. There are roles that need to be filled. The reason that there are no comments allowed right now on this live, aside from fan base, is because of the fact that the moderation that's going to be necessary for this initiative is heavy. So I think we need a total of 4 moderators just for our Discord to get everything started, and any other lives and any other things that we decide to jump into. Definitely, we need more recruiters, okay? Front-end developers, back-end developers, UI, UX designers, a cybersecurity specialist, a database developer, a network engineer, social media manager, and an app developer, just for us to get this all rolling, right? What I think we need to get started with. There is not going to be a situation where people are just applying and, you know, they're jumping in and they're not qualified. They're going to go through a thoroughly vetted process. They will be vetted 110%. They are going to be qualified individuals to work on this initiative. And honestly, if you guys want it done quickly, it needs to be something that people are dedicated to doing full time. Okay. So we're not cutting any corners here. There is going to be a formal interview process, period, point blank. People are going to be qualified and people need to be working towards this initiative full time if you guys want it done fast. Okay. So what now? We are going to move over to Discord, right? We're going to do that. Hopefully, we're going to start being able to send over invitations by tomorrow. Yes, people are not just going to be able to join the Discord server. We're going to vet them and confirm that they're genuinely people that are down with our initiative. So,
by the way, when it says fan base raised, crowdfunded $17 million, the $17 million raised in this equity crowdfunding campaign will be strategically invested. If any of you can help me with information as where that 17 million came from, I would be very much interested in that. Fan base, the next generation user owner social media app has begun its $17 million Reg A series equity crowdfunding campaign, allowing the public to invest for just $399. So who has invested in this? And again, I'm still interested to know, as exciting as another social media platform might be, black owned as it might be, what does this have to do with the claims made in this Black Project 2025 of, what is that, almost tripling the household income of black people?
People will not be able to just gain access to the Discord server. People will not just be able to gain access to our conversations. I know that's been a really big concern for a lot of you guys. But again, if we're able to put the moderators in place to be able to go and do the check and balances that are necessary with the 50,000 people that are interested in being part of this movement to get it started, I think we're going to be in really, really, really good shape. Okay. So that's it, guys. That's BP 2025. Very quick, very simple. The mission, not segregation, is economical unification. Period, point blank. So I want to open it up and see if there are any questions. The only people that I currently have the ability to see basically put their questions in the chat is in Webinar Jam. So guys, I'm going to open up the chat for questions. I'm going to enable it. You guys behave. You guys behave. No, nobody act crazy in the chat, okay? Let's see. Can you guys?
Yeah, it's a hell of a request.
Can you guys chat in Webinar Jam?
Don't whacked up in the chat.
Can you guys chat?
Let's see what comes up in the chat here.
Okay. All right, guys. Drop your Q&As inside of the, because there's 3,500 of us here. There's 3,000 of us on TikTok. There's 80 of us on Fanbase. All right, guys. So you guys can chat. Go drop your questions inside of the Q&A and let's have a look. Are there any questions that you guys have for me that I didn't cover? I know I went over what has happened with Heartbeat and emails. I know that I went over what we're in the process of doing. I know I went over what's needed. Is there anything else? Yeah, no, I know there are a lot of fake pages up, guys. I mean, this has happened so quickly. It's almost impossible to have been able to combat this in 5 days. Obviously, we're a small, mighty team working behind the scenes, right? So,
do we get any questions?
Yeah, the Q&A is getting overwhelmed.
Okay, so
So I went, okay. So in regards to state level meetups, that this is a big thing that people are talking about. I don't want us to put the egg before the chicken. Like, we need to make sure first, let's do what we can do digitally, virtually, because I can reach all of you guys via your phones. but I cannot reach all you guys on a local level. Like, that's going to take a lot of infrastructure and a lot of planning. And you know what, guys? This is crazy. Look, I'm gonna disable the chat. I'm gonna disable the chat. So I'm sure a lot of you guys probably paid attention on Instagram. I don't know if you guys did, but it was $25,000 for me to do a Zoom webinar for all of us. It would have been $25,000. So if that doesn't give you an idea in regards to the amount of funding that's going to be necessary for us to get the project started, just one meeting,
$25,000,
25 grand just with Zoom alone. I walked you guys through all the roles that are needed for us to get the ball rolling, for us to get everything started. I'm sure you guys can guess what the amount of funding can look like that we're going to need to get this started. So entity has been filed, but it's going to take up to a specific amount of time for us to be recognized as a 501.
All right, so somebody help me out with what that means. $25,000 to do a Zoom webinar. The other thing is, so just so I'm clear, and I think that we're clear, she's calling for a fundraising so that the team she's putting together will be funded to produce the business that's going to raise the funds that will turn into a capability for Black people to redirect their buying power to the Black community. I'll be perfectly honest. I want to give all. I'm not assessing the intent here, but the form of this presentation is giving, rug pull, money grab, Black business capture of an idea and some revenue. When the business starts and when all these positions are funded and when the $25,000 Zoom webinar can be afforded, what is the plan and the mechanism and the process by which this $1 trillion in buying power is redirected to the Black community? I'm still not clear even what the argument is here or what their plan is to develop that. And obviously, I don't think you can develop such a plan, but I'm not even hearing one here.
3C. So unfortunately, I do have to go the GoFundMe route if we want to be able to start getting everything done relatively quickly. So I did make a GoFundMe. I'm going to drop it in the chat. And I want to be very clear that this GoFundMe is with the objective for us to start building our team so we can start getting the infrastructure together that we need, as well as us being able to have access to the softwares that are necessary for us to start moving this forward. So guys, I'm going to share it.
But what software is required?
I'm going to add it into the link tree.
What
so
software?
You guys can go check
to do
in
what?
The link tree, and I'm also going to drop it into the chat. See, I actually have to put this in. So this is our BP 2025 GoFundMe. And this is super weird.
And the GoFundMe, as I showed you, wants to raise $2 million. So what?
Yeah, guys, it might be acting like odd. It looks like it might not even want to okay. We might be in good shape. All right, guys. So this is the GoFundMe.
The goal is $2 million.
This is going to be based on you guys. You guys show me how serious you guys are about this movement, and I will make my decisions based on what you guys show me, right? So
you kick in enough, it'll show a sign of being serious.
Go donate whatever you guys want to donate.
So
I'm going to go, since I've basically been absolutely stressed for the last few days. I'm going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to be able to respond to you guys' comments now as well. Oh, and one more thing. In regards to other organizations that are comparable to BP 2025 that have reached out to me, I really appreciate you guys' patience in me getting back to you. I've been working really, really, really hard, and I'm hoping that within the next 2 days, I'll be able to start getting through my emails. But I 110% am in support of any organization that has a mission to further the Black community, and I have no problem with any kind of collaboration. In fact, I look forward to doing so as long as our missions are unified and we can make decisions with integrity and our community's best interests in mind. So guys, this was going to be an hour. I'm going to cut it short. I feel like I kind of covered everything. You guys can go through. Discord will be up soon. Hopefully we'll be able to raise the funds needed for moderators and all that kind of stuff, because this is something that people need to be working on full time. And I'm super excited to see what our future holds. And thank you guys so much for all of your support and all of your love. And if you guys want to send DMs or whatever, I'll probably take some time tomorrow to actually go through them and be able to respond back to you guys. But yeah, aside from that, you guys have the GoFundMe for our mission. Things are kind of crazy. Economical unity. It's pretty simple. This is not about segregation. So if you guys see anyone else out there saying anything about segregation, that's not that. Go to bat for me, guys. I promise nobody's trying to harm anybody else. I'm simply just trying to uplift us. And also, on top of that, in order for us to lift ourselves up, that does not mean that we need to put other people down. Let's be very clear about that. Both things can exist at one time. Our community can grow. We can lift one another up without having to tear other people down. Okay. So guys, I am probably going to jump off.
Okay, so there was no plan offered. It was just fundraise, and if you all show enough support, we'll have another meeting. If you raise $2 million and I can pay off all these people and pay myself something, we'll all meet. That's what it sounds like to me. She's saying, I have not done any research. I don't know what other groups or organizations are doing similar work, because I haven't just tried to find out what's happening and get in where I fit in, or to improve what exists. I'm going to start my own thing, go viral, lead it, collect money, and then without an explanation of any plan whatsoever, I'm going to promise once you raise $2 million, we'll have another meeting and I'll hire everybody and we'll begin this process. You know, good people, we need political organization. We need an assumption of political power in terms of overt, above ground arguments. They have to be focused on public policy, redistribution. This idea that we can Black capitalist our way. Anyways, I mean, it's just so. Okay, big thanks to our patrons and channel members who are getting to see this first. I look forward to your thoughts, your comments, and when this gets released more broadly, same thing to everybody else. And why aren't you patrons or channel members? But we can't business our way out of this. We need political organization. We need something else. We need to get off of this branding and marketing approach to Black activism and liberation, and get back to some Black radical tradition politics. But all right, everybody, peace only if you're willing to fight for it, like Fred Hampton used to say. I'll catch you next time right here at I Mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.